Welcome to the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, where we don't take from insurance companies. Here are your hosts, Mr. Jordan Comstock and Mr. Ben Tuine. This podcast is sponsored by BoomCloud Dental Membership Software, www.boomcloudapps.com, and Veritas Dental Resources, www.veritasdentalresources.com. Enjoy the show.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast. I am your co-host today, Jordan Comstock. With me, as usual, Mr. Ben Tuine. What's up, dog?
What's up, Jordan?
How you been?
Pretty good. How you been?
Good, man. Just busy. Kids are all sick, so I've got to deal with all of that craziness. But other than that, things are going well. We're getting ready to go to Greater New York. The dental conference out there, and I'm excited to go out there. I've actually never been to New York, so I'm excited to see the big city, right? But at the same time, I'm not excited because I don't like big cities.
Very busy.
Yeah,
it's very busy.
Yeah,
nighttime not so bad, like the middle of the night, but anytime during the day, holy smokes, you're gonna be sitting in traffic for a while.
Yeah.
There's
We luckily so our VP of sales over here at BoomCloud, he's been a ton of times. So he's like, no, we're getting a hotel like in walking distance from the event because he's like,
yes,
it's gonna be crazy. I'm like, all right, cool. You're the boss now.
Yeah, you have to, because cabs and all that. I mean, it's just crazy, but it's a fascinating city. You know, when you fly in, are you guys flying JFK or LaGuardia or?
I don't know. I'll have to look at everything's been booked. I just don't know. I just show up and go.
Yeah, JFK, LaGuardia, where you can really see the city. Well, Newark, you can see the city too. But it's an amazingly huge city. You know, it's nothing like you've ever seen. When you go to LA, you see a few buildings here and there. You know, LA and Salt Lake, in terms of the amount of buildings, it seems like it looks the same. But when you go to New York, it is a concrete jungle. Like, really? It is crazy how many buildings are there, the high rises. It's actually a very fun city because from a dining experience and entertainment experience,
we're going to go to a couple of restaurants that Tyson, our VP of sales, and a couple of my other reps, they go there all the time. So like, we're going to take you here and we're going to take you there. We're going to take you here, there. I'm like, hey, dudes, I'm coming. I will, you just wherever you tell me to go, I'll go with you guys. Cause, if I were just going, I'd probably just go to a steakhouse and then go back to the hotel.
Yeah. You got to try some New York pizza while you're there. People in Chicago don't like to hear that, but the New York pizzas, the local New York pizza, the good pizzerias are actually pretty darn good. I love New York pizza.
Sweet. Yeah. I'm excited to taste that now.
No, very good. Man, election day. We're not going to talk about politics, but today's post-election day. Today's the day of the results. And have you seen the stock market today? I haven't seen it just yet. I
have not looked. I think I woke up today and I read that just Facebook laid off like 11,000 people. That's all I've seen. I know they're a public company. So that's all I've seen today. But what is this? What is the stock market doing? Is it tanking?
The Dow fell 500 points today.
Yeah,
it's an emotional roller coaster, the stock market. But one thing rings true is that it seems like you said it was Facebook that did those layoffs.
Facebook did 11,000. Obviously, everyone knows what Twitter's laying off people. That's been like in the headlines, I think, for the past little bit. I don't know. I can't remember how many, but it was a ton that they laid off. And then you got other tech companies right now laying off just lots of people, mainly because they're not being good stewards of their money. It seems like, right? They're not being smart with their cash and their revenue. They're just being irresponsible with it. Is what it seems like to me. Obviously every company is different, but that's what it seems like. Every time I read something, I'm like how did you make that mistake? You had to lay off 11,000 people. Like, that's a big mistake.
It boggles my mind that during times of prosperity, companies tend to overspend, right? They spend, I don't know what formula they use to spend that way. Probably because they want to take advantage of the growth. But when slowdowns happen, which they happen every 10 years, a major slowdown,
Yeah.
economic slowdown happens, is that they all freak out and start, firing people or laying people off, which
Hmm.
of course, changes people's lives.
Yeah.
And I guess, it seems like our last couple podcast themes are, how do you prepare for downtime? Well,
Yeah.
it
We're
looks like
headed there.
the recession is hitting. For many people, it's already hit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, those 11,000 from Facebook, I mean, that's, even though it's not like at scale across the United States, they're hit. We can classify that as their own personal recessions are starting, right? So you're going to start seeing more and more companies do that because, maybe they got tons of money from like PPP loans, from 2020, and the growth. I know the tech scene grew quite a bit in 2020 because everyone moved
Mm-hmm.
to digital, right? You got the story of Zoom. Everyone now everyone knows what Zoom is.
Yeah.
Before 2020, nobody knew what Zoom was. So you got you know uh, people that or companies that in the pandemic, especially digital companies or software companies and
Mm-hmm.
the online economy, it grew quite a bit. So people usually what happens is people kind of get too optimistic about um growth and all that. They're like, it's going to grow forever, right? Which everything always has its ups and downs, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm seeing, right? A lot of people put a ton of money, and the tech industry grew quite a bit, and now it's contracting, which is normal
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
healthy, right?
Yeah.
um but today we want to talk about prepping for once again another economic downturn. Both Ben and I have managed and operated companies through several downturns, and have learned quite a bit through the process of going through those experiences. And I'm sure everyone listening here too has gone through that too. But we want to offer some tips and some guidance on how we've been able to get through some of these economic downturns, and how you should start thinking now. It's better to do this now than before it's starts approaching your local area.
Yeah. Totally.
Because it's going to happen.
It is going to happen. So what do we have on the list that's first? Is it
So the
write-offs?
Yeah, so the first one we have today, like so my everyone, most of my customers know, Boom Cloud customers and our listeners know that my mom and my family's in dentistry. Uh, and my mom runs an office, and my aunt runs an office. And I asked them, when you running a practice, I asked my aunt this, who she works for Boom Cloud now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what was a common write-off, right? And she said anywhere between what 250 and actually you told me this, Ben. It was anywhere between 250 to 350, 250,000 to $350,000 in write-offs every year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked, these office managers that are in my family, and they're like, yeah, last year we wrote off 388,000
Oh,
in fees
geez.
that we could have collected, but the insurance companies, that's just the deal that they're in right now with the insurance companies. I'm like, man, imagine if most practices understood how to optimize their revenue
Mm-hmm.
with insurance by cutting out the bad plans and optimizing the plans that they feel that are worth keeping. Because I mean, I did the math over the course of a 30-year career, that's like $10.5 million lost because of insurance
Mm-hmm.
companies. That's ten and
Mm-hmm.
a half million dollars for the practice owner to reinvest and to build up the practice and to increase the value and to invest into your team members and to invest into, the cool tech of in dentistry. That is a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Or revenue that you can put towards your retirement, or future or current investments that you're trying to do within your practice or outside of your practice. And,
Mm-hmm.
and insurance is doing that to your practice.
Oh
Insurance
yeah.
is doing that to these practices. And I don't know why, Ben, but I've always just had an issue with that. Why do I have it's like I don't even own a dental practice. I just have an issue with what insurance companies are doing to, practice owners. Maybe it's
And it's
because I grew up in
yeah.
dentistry and it's close to my family, but I don't know. Doesn't
Let
sit
me
well.
tell you a quick story. I
Yeah.
know. So last night I get an email from one of my clients out of New Jersey. It's
Uh-huh.
actually the insurance coordinator saying, I talked to MetLife. MetLife said that somebody in your office had us opted out of MetLife on such and such date, and here's the case number, and you guys didn't get the doctor's approval for that. And so she was quite upset. And I looked at my records. I'm like, I don't have any clue. Like that doesn't match our communications with MetLife. So
Mm-hmm.
she's like, I spoke to MetLife and they told me all this stuff that happened. And I'm looking at the actual evidence of what occurred. I'm like, number one, MetLife is lying to you.
Mm-hmm.
And what the result of that is MetLife convinced this person in this practice to enroll under a direct contract
Mm.
and completely bypass the 32% increase that we put in place. And so MetLife lied to this practice or this insurance coordinator, throwing us under the bus and basically saying, if you get under a direct contract, and didn't say what the fees would be, all the problems that you're experiencing now in terms of your credentialing and all that would be, I'll approve it today. And that insurance coordinator said, done, let's get it done today. Well, when I looked at the final fees, that wiped out 32%
Wow.
for this one doctor for MetLife. And this practice, in a single year would probably do about $275,000 in revenue from MetLife.
From MetLife.
That
So
is a
32% of that.
yeah. I
Wow.
mean, and this is MetLife making themselves look like the hero. I'll approve it today. You don't need to work with these guys. Yeah, of course you don't need to work with the guys that are trying to get you a 32% increase. you know,
Yeah.
but my biggest beef with insurance is that they lie, and they lie to the extent where they feel like there's no accountability, that nobody's going to catch them in their lie. It's
Hmm.
kind of like that politician that tells a blatant lie, and then when you fact check them, I was
Don't
like,
they all do that?
oh yeah, where the heck did they come up with that number or that statement? It's like,
Yeah.
who's people aren't fact checking these statements that are coming out of their mouths. Well, insurance companies kind of take it to the next level because it has everything to do with money, on their end. That
Yeah.
saving 32% for one practice, you multiply that by 100,000 practices, that is big time savings for one
Sure.
company.
Yeah.
So
No, it's really interesting, and part of, prepping for any type of economic downturn is looking at what are your contracts, with PPOs, and what are you writing off, and how can you optimize that by either dropping some of these plans or renegotiating them, in your favor, obviously.
yeah,
Um,
totally. Yeah, just
it
take no
just
prisoners. Don't give in to the lies that the insurance companies tell you. Because guess what?
yeah,
They're going to tell your patients. The insurance companies are going to do the same thing, and they're going to throw you under the bus when they're talking to your patients about benefits, to position themselves as the insurance company to look good. They are
yeah,
not your friend.
yeah.
They are not in it to win it with you.
Well, that's a crazy thing, because they're essentially, you can look at them as a just a like a type of partner that practice partners up with, right? To offer
Mhm.
benefits and savings to patients. And it's like, man, if I had a partner that forced me to discount everything because, forced me to discount everything, caused problems with my patient's experience, and blame all the bad experience stuff on the practice, right?
Mhm.
And delay cash flow, like that's not a really good partner. It's like the worst
Yeah.
part. Like if I had one of those, I always say this, I would fire their ass.
Oh,
you know
but I guess we got.
it just drives me
I
crazy.
know. But we got to look at the realities too. Like facing a recession,
Yep.
the question becomes from the patient's perspective, where would they rather go, in network
Hmm.
and out of network? And this is a tough conversation to have because,
Yep.
back in 2008, a lot in Arizona alone, like 600 plus practices closed down, right? It was
Yeah.
very competitive in that market. And a lot of the patients just stopped being active, right?
Yeah.
And it seemed like the patients that were active were the insured patients that still had jobs, and they
Sure.
kept coming in. I was running a group practice at that time, and what I saw was we were still able to have effective marketing, but
Hmm.
people only wanted to go in network. And I think I think the challenge with that mindset when we're in a recession, people don't want to spend, right? And it seems like that a lot of doctors are fearful of going out of network, especially during a recession, because of the
Yeah.
potential of losing patients. My opinion is that I discovered a lot of practices in 2010. I discovered a lot of practices in Arizona that are fee for service. They slowed down, but so did we.
Yeah.
But did they go out of business? No.
Their margins probably were healthier if the out of network compared to like the in network like profit
Yeah,
margins. Well,
they did. Yeah,
they slowed down, but the margins were still healthier than in
and so
network.
so this is the big difference. For every one patient that they saw, a PPO practice would need to see at least 3 patients to make the same level of
So three
profitability.
times the effort. Yeah. Wow.
Pretty much. And so the fee for service practices didn't have to work as hard to sustain the businesses. The truth is the economy always rebounds.
Oh yeah.
Unless,
Well, there's always opportunities even in a downturn, right?
yep.
I've
Oh
always
yeah.
found opportunity, right? Now, everyone can just sit and be like, well, this sucks, the economy sucks, blah, 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 right? Just complain and whine about it. But the reality is like take action and you own it, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, this is what the current landscape looks like now. How can I be creative and make this work for my practice, right? It's just being a little more scrappy, right, than what you're currently used to in terms
You
of your
have to.
mindset and how you operate
Yep.
and grow your company, because a lot of companies grow really well during recessions.
Oh yeah.
So there's
Just stick it out. Yeah.
there's a book that from not Rich Dad Poor Dad, the um Think and Grow Rich. Have you read that book?
Oh yeah.
You've read
Love
that.
that book.
Everyone should read that book. um with every challenge or problem, there's an equal opposite, right? I didn't say that quote the way Napoleon Hill says it from that book, but that's one of the quotes or mindsets that he has is like with every challenge, there's always an equal opportunity, on the opposite side, right? Every problem you deal with, there's always an equal opportunity, right? There's never one or the other. There's always both, right? So that's, I think, something that we should keep in mind as we go into this. Mindset matters, and if you have the wrong mindset going into a downturn, you're going to really struggle. At least that's what I have found over the years. That mindset really matters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just like professional athletes, any professional athlete will tell you it's 90% physical,
Yeah.
90% mental,
Mental.
10% physical.
Yep.
I mean, look at what Urban Meyer did in Ohio and in Florida, and taking a fourth string quarterback and winning the national championship, where that same effort cannot be duplicated under different leadership.
Yep.
And getting the team members to commit to get their mindset in the right place, having some type of motivation, right?
Yeah. Totally. Mindset and effort. I would add effort in there. If you have the mindset of not scared of getting your hands dirty, right, and putting the effort into making something work, I think that's the mindset that is both athletes have that, professional athletes. Like our VP of sales over here was a pro baseball player for about 5 years. So I've seen that type of mindset come out of him quite a bit, when he's teaching the teams over here. It's fun to see that an athlete is a leader, especially a pro athlete like Tyson from our team. He played for the Dodgers, if anyone's wondering. Hopefully there's some fans out there. Anyways, so reducing your insurance participation and doing it, strategically, as I would say, a lot of people that I've known in the past have just ripped it out like a Band-Aid. That's not always the best strategy. I mean, they end up making it work in the long run, but being strategic with it, and I know we've done plenty of episodes on that. The second thing is cash flow matters. Cash doesn't matter. If you got cash reserves, I mean, that's great, but you want to turn it into cash flow as quickly as possible. And it's why one of the reasons why I've always loved, membership plans over the years is because it helps practices develop a consistent cash flow or produces recurring revenue, which also produces loyalty. So if people are subscribed to your dental office, they're less likely to cancel. And in a downturn, people still need dental care. I mean, I worked for a dental lab in 2007 and 8 in that economic downturn, and people still needed their work done. Like, people are in pain,
Oh, yeah.
people care about their health care, right? And they need it. So it's like, as long as you're providing ways for them to get it conveniently, I think
Mhm.
membership plans are a great way of doing that. But they also create that loyalty system, as well as especially as you're dropping PPOs, you can convert people over to your membership plan. In addition to that, the recurring revenue, the cash flow, the predictable cash flow that it generates, is super critical. There's a quote: in an economic recession or downturn, the most important thing to be looking at is your cash balance and your cash flow. If you don't have good cash flow, and the crazy thing is, Ben, insurance companies kind of jack up the cash flow by denying and delaying claims, right? And making it hard to that cash flow to come in easy, right? That's why
Mhm.
I like financing and helping patients with financing and membership plans, because they're avenues to get the patient to accept and
Mhm.
receive the treatment, right?
Oh, yeah.
So when we
Yeah, we
have,
did.
oh, go ahead.
No, we did a lot of financing in 2008, and we charged patients. What we calculated was the material cost of delivering treatment as the down payment,
Oh, cool,
and
smart.
then
So
yeah, and
covering the costs,
yeah, and then
making sure the
we
cash
did
flow.
yeah we did our own in-house because financing, because we had we hired a Chase banker, and he did all the case presentation,
Yeah, yeah,
and he
it's
created the
good.
treatment plans on the spot, and excuse me, the in-house financing arrangements on the spot with interest rates.
Yeah, so you do the
And
like installment plans, payment,
yeah,
like
because
in-house installment plans is kind of what I call
oh
those.
yeah, we did that
Um,
during a recession, and we probably had a good, we're still doing around 300,000 a month for that one
mhm.
practice in collections. And the main reason why is we're able to help people easily reach into their pockets each month to afford the treatment they needed.
Yeah, I think that's
So
I mean, we didn't put this on our list to talk about, but naturally we started talking about it. I definitely think that's smart, and we've over the years with Boom Cloud in our technology, we've added we actually have had it since the beginning. We've just souped it up over the years. We have a system in our application that allows you to do in-house installment plans and add your own interest and have it automatically deducted from the patient's accounts and bank accounts and credit cards or debit cards, whatever they use. And then we've recently are rolling out here in the next couple of weeks something like an accounts receivable automation tool that will look at your, which patients owe you money, and it'll send a text out to your patients that owe money and say, hey, it looks like hey Jordan, it looks like you've got a cash balance owed of $2,000. Let's just say it. Click here to pay your bill, and it allows the patient to choose their own adventure, and they could either click and pay their full cash balance or create a in-house installment plan. We have pre-built options for like a 3-month plan, a 6-month, a 9-month, a 12-month, and I think we go all the way up to 18 or 24 months. So the patient can then say, I could afford this. Let's go. Right. So trying to
oh yeah.
help and prepare for this economic downturn. That that feature of our platform is I think launching end of November 2022 or December 2022. I can't remember. But making it so patients can choose their own adventure and pay for the treatment that they need and want, is a way to generate that cash flow and get people saying yes and focusing on that cash flow, right? In addition to
Yeah.
membership plans. We just had we have a batch of practices across the nation that are now hitting their what we call the $1 million membership plan, which is really cool because that
Mhm.
means they're generating $1 million just in membership revenue, which is revenue,
Wow.
whether you do dentistry or not, that revenue is coming in. So
Mhm.
I'm even more excited to be talking about this in the industry than I was even when I started the company, Ben, because I truly feel like we're helping and empowering practices, especially with this an up and coming economic downturn. So
Mhm.
what's the next topic
That's
here? Then
awesome.
we have I wrote down, another thing to prep for any type of downturn is, increasing lead gen and networking
Hmm.
opportunities in your practice. And I chose lead gen because too many marketers are always talking about you got to do marketing, you got to promote. And then they put a billboard up that says, Dr. Smith is great. Right?
Yeah.
Or they're like, hey, we should, sponsor the school, which I have no problem with. I think it's great, but it's not a
Hmm.
lead gen marketing tool. Like a lead gen tool or a lead gen marketing strategy is creating new lead opportunities, meaning they're coming to your website and scheduling an appointment. That's an awesome lead gen
Hmm.
opportunity. Or coming in and maybe you have like a course on, I don't know, periodontal disease, and
Hmm.
maybe the patient Googled online and they're like, I felt like I have some type of, everyone's Googling these days and figuring out and self-diagnosing, right? But you
Right.
can create like a course, like a free course that they can download in exchange for your
Hmm.
emails and things like that, like educational content that people are searching for, right? Or how do I what's the best way to whiten my teeth, right? Because I know that's a most common search term in dentistry, but providing educational content tools, and both Ben and I have done this for years. We do webinars, we do I write a lot of ebooks and give them for free to people, and like just go to our website and download one of the ebooks, and that's my lead gen strategy, right?
Hmm.
um and I'm open with that because I want to teach other practices, that it's a smart way to do business and to meet new people that potentially can be patients, right?
Right.
So lead gen, that's what you should be focusing on. Networking is another one of my favorite things. Ben, that's how you and I met.
I
We
know.
went to some networking meeting, I think there were some other business consultants here in Utah that were meeting once a week or were trying to.
Hmm.
And I'm a big fan of networking because it's how I've grown my business in tough times and good times, right? And the fact that Ben and I met through networking and it's turned into a wonderful relationship over the years to the point now we're neighbors. Uh, no, we've, the networking brought us to help each other out over the years, start a podcast, refer each other over the years. Speaking of that, I got referrals for you. Uh,
Oh, thanks.
yeah. Um, I think networking is one of the best things you can do as a practice or just any business owner.
Hmm.
It's a transferable skill is what I call it. So no matter what type of business you own, you can network and it can be a benefit. So networking and meeting other businesses around your area and seeing how you guys can how you can help them and how they can help you, and just help your local other businesses out. That's kind of my mindset in regards to networking. So I don't know if you have anything on that, Ben, but I think it's super important to start
Oh
ramping that up
yeah.
now.
Like a friend of mine, well, client and friend, Dr. Kim Nickel up in Park City, Utah, launched her practice June 2020 when everything was shut down in Park City.
Uh-huh.
By the end of June, the end of that year, she treated 500 patients. As a startup practice, that's
Wow.
actually quite phenomenal.
Yeah.
But she's part of all the local entrepreneur networking groups.
Like
And if you know,
BNI and the Chamber of Commerce, stuff like
oh
that.
yeah,
Yeah, smart.
yeah. If you know anything about Park City, you have almost every major successful business billionaire has a cabin up there.
Yeah, totally. They do. Yeah. It's
And
nice.
when you're rubbing shoulders with that that level of caliber of people that employ thousands, if not millions, of people, it worked out well for her to where she built a fee for service practice out of network with every insurance
Wow.
in the heart of Utah, where every dentist participates with every insurance plan.
Uh-huh.
How does she do that? Networking.
Yeah. It really is that important. I like everything that I've been able to do, starting a company with no money. I had no money. I was broke when I started Boom Cloud. It all goes back to the effort I put into networking, right, in the industry and with people around
Yeah.
me. And I think it's a really smart way to go about running and growing businesses because um, relationships is what matters, right?
Mhm.
That's how you build companies. It's all relationships
Absolutely.
from your
Yeah.
team members and your employees
Yep.
to other businesses, around you or in your same industry. So I think that's a huge thing that as practice owners, get good at networking and lead and creating leads.
Yep. It
Even if you're
works.
not a marketer, you don't have to be a marketer. You don't have to be a marketing genius to create leads. You just need to have a little system that allows you to collect
Yeah.
patient information before they become a patient.
Yeah.
You
Be
know,
creative. Yep.
yeah. So,
Yep.
which leads us to the scrappy and bootstrap mindset.
Yes, and I do need to run here. I have a very hard stop 2 minutes ago.
Oh,
But we'll
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 continue.
wrap
Sounds
this
like we
one.
need to continue, Ben.
Yeah.
Part two.
Bootstrapping is as simple as it sounds. I run my business. I feel like I bootstrap all throughout my career.
Sure.
I splurge from now and then, but I invest and reinvest and save and reinvest into my team and my business.
Yeah.
I don't drive fancy cars. I don't live in a fancy expensive house. I don't have high monthly expenditures personally.
It's
But
smart.
I feel like when you focus your money spending it on reinvestment, right? And of course having a massive rainy day fund because at some point you may need to use it.
Totally.
But living your life like that to where you can draw from your income to play, right? But
Yeah.
you're not necessarily spending 100% of your earnings. That's dangerous. I see that all the time with business owners that spend everything that they earn because
Yeah. It's very
they live
risky.
in mansions. Yeah. And it's like, I would love to I may do that at some point when I retire,
Totally.
but now it's like planning for hard times is how I've been building my business. I know that we're going to have economic downturns. So if this recession hit as an example and we had no revenue in 2023, we're totally fine.
Yeah.
You can do
That's
that.
sweet.
You know?
Yep. So cash flow and cash reserves and that scrappy bootstrapper mindset is kind of how you do that. So a lot of books on the topic.
Mhm.
But sounds like we'll do another part 2 episode to talk about some of the other ways practices can plan for any downturns here. So with that said, Ben, awesome episode today. And we thank you all for listening and we hope you have a rocking day.
Take care, everybody. Thanks, Jordan.